she did. She tried to give me that good loving, but I was down so I didn't want it. Wanted to fix my favorite foods. I was down so low I didn't want it. Y'all don't hear me. She booked a trip so we could get away for a little while. I told her I don't want it. Y'all don't hear me. She called my mama, said something is wrong with your baby. My mama called me, still couldn't get through to me. She called her girlfriends, they couldn't help her. But let me tell y'all why I ain't going nowhere. I came home one night, I eased up in the bedroom, found my baby down on her knees, calling out to the Lord. Y'all don't hear me in here. Down on her knees, Lord, whatever it is, Lord, whatever it is, Lord, whatever it is, Lord, whatever it is, I believe that you're able, and I want to tell you thank you for doing it for him already. I come on road tonight. Anybody can take you to Applebee's and get a 2 for $20, but you gonna need somebody. 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 You gonna need somebody to walk with you. Come on, you walking. Walk with you. Through the good time to walk with you. Through the bad time to walk with you. When you ain't got no money, walk with you. When you got a pocket full of money, walking with you. You gonna need somebody. I wish I had a witness here. You don't need arm candy. You don't need somebody that just look good on your arm. You need somebody. Yeah. You need somebody tonight. And if I got some fellas that's got a good woman, I want the fellas to make some noise. If you got a good woman, I want the fellas to make some noise. Ladies, if you are a good woman, can I hear y'all screaming? If you that kind of woman that can speak to the king inside the kid, let me hear you screaming. If you the kind of woman that know how to take a house and turn it into a home, let me hear you scream.
This is the year of expansion. Not theory, not talk. Expansion. Brought to you by the Change Agent Network. Powered by SKD Entertainment and distributed by SKD TV. If you're ready to move, if you're ready to build, if you're ready to expand, then you have come to the right room. Welcome to the Boardroom Report. Strategic direction for clear execution. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you now, Pastor Derek, the Change Man Schmeal. Welcome to the Boardroom Report. Strategic direction for clear execution. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you now, Pastor Derek, the Change Man Schmeal.
Come on in, y'all. Come on in, come on in. Grab a pen and telephone. Come on in. It's the Boardroom Report with yours truly. Come on in, come on in. Come on in. Let's get it in. Let's get it in. Oh, yes, sir. Hey, come on in. Tell a friend, grab your pen, and come on in. Come on in. We welcome you to the Boardroom Report. I am yours truly, Pastor Derek, the Change Man Smith, and I am so grateful, so thankful that you are here tonight. I'm so thankful that you are embarking upon your journey and moving into the year of expansion. This is an amazing time in our lives. And if you're not living a life of abundance, if you're not living a life of expansion, don't worry, Pastor David got you. That's why I bring us together every week, every Tuesday and Wednesday, to give you impartation, to give you strategic direction and clear execution. I want to help you move from, they say things like, when you know better, you'll do better. Well, that's not necessarily true. When you decide to do better, you'll do better. When you decide to do better, you'll do better even when you don't know how. Because it's something about the commitment, it's something about the decision to do better. But then summons all the things that you need, it will show up for you. There's an adage that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And I believe that wholeheartedly. So again, I want to welcome you to the Boardroom Report. If you haven't taken the time already, if you're rushing, I want you to take a little bit of time, grab your pen and paper, because I want you to take some notes. There will be some homework after this. Tonight is a very, very amazing topic that I want to talk about. We are in the 28 days of love. We are enjoying all the things that we're supposed to with the 28 days of love with yours truly, Pastor Dick Changeman Smith, memoir of a certified lover. Yours truly has a new single out that's from the forthcoming album called I Can't Believe. Lord have mercy. That song right there is doing what it's supposed to do. It is causing a stir in the world because people can resonate and relate to love. And the Boardroom Report fits right into the 28 days of love, because I want to help you with an abundance of love, peace, grace, financial blessings, all those things. So the Boardroom Report is not just about money, but it's about those principles, because money doesn't make you, it exposes you. So before I go any further tonight, I want to just correct something. When I say the Boardroom Report, some people immediately think this is about money. And some people think it's about millions of dollars when I say the mindset of a millionaire. So some people think when I say the Boardroom Report, they think about stocks, they think about investments, luxury suites, corporate talk, but that's not what this is. This is not a get rich show. This is not a hustle culture show. This is not a how to make $1 million show. The Boardroom Report is really not about money. The Boardroom Report is about decision making. And because the boardroom is any place where you make decisions that affect other people. So if you are a leader in any capacity, whether you're a mother, a wife, a father, a husband, a supervisor, a CEO, anywhere that you make decisions is the boardroom. And so we bring the Boardroom Report to bring clarity to clutter, to help us as we do this thing called life. The boardroom is any place that you make decisions that affect other people, which could be a company, a household, a marriage, a relationship, a ministry, workplace, or even your own internal life. If your decisions impact someone else, you are already sitting in a boardroom. Now, You don't need a mahogany table. You don't need investors. You don't need a title. You don't need your name on a door or on your desk. If your choices carries weight, you are in leadership. And leadership is not about income first. It's about judgment first. Because I'll often say if you chase paper, you will really chase fatigue. But if you chase purpose, paper chases purpose. Most people don't lose money because they lack opportunity or talent. They lose money because they lack discipline. They lack boundaries. They lack clarity. They lack structure. And I want you to know money doesn't fix your problems. It exposes them. If you cannot manage access, time, emotions, authority, or responsibility, then money will only magnify your weakness. Can I say that again? Money will only magnify your weakness. Money does not make you, it just exposes you. So if you are a sweet person, when you get money, you're going to be the sweetest. But if you are a mean person, and another word I want to say, but if you are a mean person, when you get money, it's just going to expose that part of you as well. So this show is about management. In February, the 28 days for us has not been about romance solely. It's been more about management, because love is where most people make their worst executive decisions. They override policy with feelings. They promote people without qualifications. We keep employees in relationships long after the performance has declined. We fund emotional departments that produce no return. Come on, I'm talking to me. That is not love. That's poor leadership. So when we talk about love in the boardroom, we're not talking about butterflies. We're not talking about boundaries. We're talking about boundaries. We're not talking about chemistry. We're talking about clarity. We're not talking about attraction, but we're talking about alignment. Because if your emotional life is unmanaged, your financial life will eventually reflect it. If your emotional life is unmanaged, your financial life will definitely reveal that. If you tolerate chaos in relationships, you will tolerate chaos in business. If you reward inconsistency in your love life, you will reward inconsistency in your work life. And the boardroom has standards. That's a sexy word. I love that word, standards. The boardroom is about standards. It has standards, and it's about who gets access. It's about who gets influence, who gets proximity to your decisions. Many people think this show is about how to make money, but I come to correct that. This show is about how to stop losing authority, because once authority leaks, everything else follows. So let me say this plainly. If you cannot say no, you cannot lead. If you cannot restrict access, you will never scale. And if you cannot enforce boundaries, you cannot build anything that's going to last. This show trains decision makers, not dreamers. So we don't start with revenue, we start with responsibility. We don't start with strategy, we start with structure. And tonight's episode, Love Under New Management, is not about feelings. It's about policy change. And that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to change some policies. It's about recognizing that love without structure becomes liabilities. It's about understanding that not everyone who is close to you should be close to your decisions. Come on, lean in. I'm talking to you. So if you tuned in looking for motivation, it's going to be heavy for you tonight. But if you tuned in looking for clarity, you are in the right room. And I would like to take this time to officially tell you, welcome to the boardroom, where emotions don't run companies, but decisions do. Let's go. Now that the room is set, let me be clear about what's going on next. Tonight is not about love in theory. It's about love in operation. Because once you understand that the boardroom is about decisions, not dollars, one truth becomes very unavoidable. Most people are not struggling because they don't have love or don't want love, but they struggle because they love is managed poorly. They confuse access with loyalty, proximity with permission, emotion with qualification, and the cost of the confusion, it shows up everywhere. That's one thing about dysfunction. That's one thing about confusion. It doesn't behave. No matter where you are, it's going to show up. And it shows up at work when people overstep boundaries that they were never given in the first place. It shows up in your business when too many people have opinions and not enough responsibility. And it shows up in relationships when familiarity replaces respect. This is why February was very much necessary and essential, because February, the 28 days, is not about becoming softer, it's about becoming clearer. Clarity is kindness, and confusion is it's expensive. So not everyone who feels entitled to you is entitled to access to you. Can I say that again? Everyone that feels that entitled to you is not entitled to access to you. Not everyone who knows you is qualified to influence you. Not everyone who is close to you should be close to your decisions. And the reason this keeps happening is not because people are bold or out of order. It's because we as the leaders have not set the proper protocol. Our leadership was silent. You did not reset the terms. You did not define the lanes. You did not restrict access. You kept explaining instead of enforcing. But that ends tonight, because love under new management requires new policies. It requires structure, boundaries, and consequences. And from this point forward, love is no longer running by emotions. It's running by standards. That's good, ain't it? Love under new management does not negotiate boundaries. It enforces them. It does not reward pressure. It realigns. It brings realignment. Love under new management does not give access based on history. It gives access based on responsibility. Can I say that again? I want to slow that one down. Love under new management does not give access based on history. Just because you had it don't mean you're going to get it. So tonight, we're not asking about how do I feel. We're asking who has access, who has influence, who is costing me time, peace, focus, and authority. Because every unmanaged relationship becomes an unmanaged department in your love factory. And every unmanaged department will become a loss. So if you're ready to stop leaking authority, stop financing emotional liabilities, and stop confusing familiarity with leadership, then I want to welcome you to Love Under New Management. Let's talk about unauthorized access. This is where most people lose control. The biggest issue in love, business, and work environments is not disrespect. It's unauthorized access. People doing the most, doing too much, knowing too much, saying too much, touching things they were never assigned to. And before you blame them, let me say this plainly. People only overstep where steps were never defined. Most of us are dealing with boundary problems that are actually leadership problems. We never clarified the role. We never defined the lane. We never set the consequences. And so people fill in the blanks themselves. Now, notice I said we, because I'm at the front of the line. I'm bringing you this information because that's one of the things that I've had being a serial entrepreneur for many, many decades. I have learned a lot by working with people and loving people that I work with. And so this is why this is so important. Let me show you how this shows up in real life when we talk about not having clarity and defined roles. So at work, you have a coworker who comments on decisions that they don't execute, questions leadership that they don't carry, want explanations that they didn't earn, and they speak on outcomes that they won't be held accountable for. They say things like this. I just want to understand. I was only trying to help. I thought we all were a team. No, teams have roles, and roles have limits. If someone is not responsible for the outcome, they are not entitled to the explanation. That's not arrogance, that's structure. And in business, you have people who want access to strategy without contribution. They want to sit in rooms that they didn't build, nor have the responsibility to maintain once they're in them. They want inside information without the liability. They want to advise without accountability. They call it loyalty, they call it support, they call it being down. But here's the truth. If someone benefits from the vision without carrying the weight of execution, that's a big risk. Vision is expensive. Can I say that again? Vision is expensive. And if you say money talks, well, what is the conversation like? Because everybody that's talking ain't saying something. A whole lot of folks are talking loud and ain't saying nothing. So if your money is talking, what is your money saying? What's the type of conversation, and who is it having a conversation with? If love requires work, what type of worker do you have? What type of worker are you? In relationships, this is where it gets quiet. You have people who ask personal questions that they didn't earn the right to ask. They expect emotional access on demand. They require constant reassurance, and they feel entitled to your time, your energy, and your availability. And when you pull back, they'll say things like, "You've changed. You acting different. You ain't the same anymore." And guess what? They are right. Because growth always feels like a loss to people who benefit from your lack of boundaries. Let me say that again. People always feels like growth always feels like a loss to the very people that were benefiting from the lack of you having boundaries. Let's talk about something else here about oversharing. Oversharing is not maturity. It's not healing. It's not transparency. Oversharing is often based off of fear. You share too much because you want to be understood. You want connection quickly. You want to build trust fastly. You don't want to seem distant or cold. But here's the boardroom rule. Trust is not built by information. Trust is built by consistency over time. When you share too much too soon, you give people leverage before they are shown, before they've shown you the discipline, before you have the receipt of that they're responsible. And if you put that in the wrong hands, it's always going to get used in the wrong way. Here's why people keep overstepping. People overstep because it works. They've learned you'll explain, you'll soften, you'll adjust, you'll give another chance, you'll avoid confrontation. So they keep on testing you, not because they're evil, but because the system allows it. And now they know how to work the system. You know, there are a lot of people that know how to work the system. You got people out here that know how to work Section 8. You got people out here that know how to work slip and fall. You got people out here that know how to work having a wife, a girlfriend, and a side piece. These are systems. And people know how to master and work systems to their benefit. Not because they're evil, but because they know how to work the system. Repeated boundary violations are not misunderstandings. Someone that keeps repeating to violate your boundaries, that's data. And data is what you can use to respond. You respond to in business, you need data. KPIs, key percentage indicators. These show what your bottom lines are. These are things that you need to have the analysis in business. What is the same thing that shows up in your personal as well. So here is the new policy. Again, this is love under new management. We're going to rewrite some policies. Policy number 1, access is earned, not assumed. Under new management, familiarity does not equal permission. History does not override performance, and proximity does not grant influence. Say this: just because they're close to me doesn't mean you're close to my decisions. You don't owe everyone clarity. You owe the system order, your system order. You don't owe them explanations. You owe them order. So access is earned, not assumed. Policy number 1. Let's go to policy number 2. Emotional pressure is not a qualification. Some people apply pressure instead of applying value. They guilt you. They rush you. They emotionalize conversations. They create urgency without substance. Under new management, pressure is not persuasive. It's disqualifying. So if someone needs emotional leverage to be heard, they are not ready for your access. Stop allowing people. I know everybody's on AI, but I keep telling you, you got to really be on point with your EI, your emotional intelligence, not artificial intelligence. Be careful with artificial. Anything that's not real. Artificial is not real. And a lot of times, just because it's loud, we get comfortable with it. Just because it's a lot of people, we get comfortable with it. But a whole lot of people don't make it right. Just because a whole lot of people do it, don't make it right. Just because a whole lot of people like it, don't mean it's right. And so, if you have someone that is bringing you emotional unintelligence, you need to check that out. Here's where the shift changes. The shift in February demands that you stop asking, "How do I feel about this person?" and you start asking, "What does this person cost me?" Yeah, let's get to the bottom line. Let's look at the P&L, profit and loss statement. Not just financially, but what is it costing you in your focus, your peace, your time, your authority, your momentum, because love without stewardship turns into a great loss. And leadership that refuses to count the cost eventually collapses. So tonight, we're not talking about cutting people off. It's not about that. We're talking about the correct placement. I've learned, as a person who is a CEO of several businesses, and I'm connected to a lot of people, places, and things, I've learned the hard way that I've had to put people in their proper places. And sometimes I still struggle with that. When you're with someone a lot, and you spend a lot of time with them, you will tend to share. You will tend to grow close and share things. But proximity does not equal safety. Just and frequency does not equal safety. Just because you're around them a lot, just because they are with you when you're making major decisions, don't mean that you have to give the explanation. There's some things in your core. You got to make sure that you're putting the proper people in the proper place. So this is not about not fooling with people. This is about repositioning everyone. And the next thing we're going to talk about here is reassessing how to reassign access without feeling guilty. How to do that, how to do that without feeling guilty at work, in business, and in your personal relationships. Check this out. Without explanations, without arguments, and without emotional cleanup. Love under new management. The new policy is you do not announce change. This is not the time for you to get on Facebook and tell everybody, well, I'm under new management, love under new management. No, you done lost your power already. The moment you start announcing stuff, the moment you got to tell, because see, the flex is doing it without talking about it. You don't have to announce it. You just implement it. You stop explaining boundaries. You stop defending your decisions. You stop processing pushback. You stop negotiating clarity. You simply just change the behavior. Access is reassigned by action, not by conversation. Standards aren't what you say they are, they're what you tolerate. You can say all day long that you don't drink, and every time you turn around, you got a bottle of liquor in your hand. You can say all day long that you are working on your weight, but every time you turn around, you at the buffet with 4 or 5 extra plates, and that's just for you. So it's not about what you say, it's about what you do. So let me show you how to downgrade access. If you've got somebody that's got too much access, I'm going to show you how to downgrade the access clean and quiet. First of all, don't argue. You don't warn repeatedly. You ain't got to keep saying it over and over and over again. And you do not give ultimatums. That's a huge one. Listen, all of this, if you are currently guilty of all of this, I don't want you to have any shame around it. Again, this is a safe station. I don't want you to feel in any kind of way, simply because this is life. And nobody really has taught us how to master this. The reason why I'm so passionate about the Boardroom Report and the year of expansion is because there's been so many things that was the information that was given, but the application of the information wasn't given. Transformation doesn't happen because of information. Transformation happens because of application. So application of information brings forth transformation. And so that's why I'm here tonight, to help you with your application. Don't argue. Don't warn repeatedly. Stop saying it over and over and over. And stop giving ultimatums. Just immediately pull back on your information that you share. Pull back on how you be so responsive to them. They call because look, your emergency is not my emergency. Just because you got an emergency, if your emergency does not involve me, then it's not my emergency. And I don't have to snap, crackle, and pop to get to you because you've got an emergency when I have other things going on. That's boundaries. You can't just, hey, you got 5 minutes for a call? Hey, I need to talk to you. No, I have stuff going on. You got stuff going on. And so don't let people interrupt your flow, interrupt your day with their emergencies. Have a time. Tell them you'll call them back after you finish. Stop looping them into decisions. That's a huge one. You got to find you some people that are on your level. You got to find you some people that are in your circle. Because if you're dealing with business, then get you some business friends. Get you some business constituents, not necessarily friends. Stop trying to share everything with people who aren't qualified. The Bible says in Habakkuk 2 that we really build on a lot about vision. It says, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. And everybody can't read and everybody can't run. So you're sharing what God told you to do. God told you to open up that smoothie shop. God told you to open up that Pilates class. God told you to start working on that financial literacy workshop. And then you start explaining that to people who don't have the fortitude, the wherewithal, the capacity to even tap in. And all they're going to do is tell you about their fear. They're going to tell you, and it's not because they're bad people. They love you. Most of them do. But protection creates limitation. They don't want to see you hurt. And sometimes hurt is necessary for growth. They don't want to see you with your knees scarred up. But sometimes the beauty, that's why they call them beauty scars. Sometimes the beauty doesn't come until you are inflicted, because we learn. That's where God gets his glory. The Bible says we overcome the adversary by the word, the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. Overcome the adversary. The adversary, that means we had some resistance. That means we had a fight, we had a war. But we overcome that by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So a lot of times, if you don't have a testimony, somebody's behind you is listening and watching, you won't help them overcome. Because you don't have a testimony, because you were too afraid to move. You were too afraid to start. You were too afraid to invest. I've had lots of things and I've lost lots of things. I am a man of resources. I'm a conduit that can do it, and gonna do it, will do it. But it has come with a very healthy price. And I've learned that the majority of my life has been misunderstood by the people that I've held close. Remove emotional availability. Keep interactions task-based and time-bound. If they notice, that means access mattered. Now, when people resist boundaries, expect resistance. Resistance is confirmation. It's not confusion. They are letting you know how and what they are feeling. When they push, you respond back with one sentence only. That doesn't work for me. I've already decided. This is how I'm moving forward. I'm not discussing this. Come on, let's say it again. So when they push back and they want to know why, you can say one of the following. This doesn't work for me. Number 2, I've already decided. Number 3, this is how I'm moving forward, and I'm not discussing this. And then stop talking. No second sentence, no explanation. Now, sometimes in your life, you will have to remove some people completely. So let me show you how to do that. When you have to do that, removal is required when boundaries are repeatedly violated. When they continuously violate your boundaries, that's when you got to get people out. When they're continuously violating your trust, you got to remove them. When they're continuously being manipulative, you got to move them. When you keep telling them, hey, don't do this, don't do that, and they keep doing the same thing that you've told them, this is when you have to move them. For people who are not able to move people physically, you have to move them from proximity. Okay, I may not can remove you physically, but I'm going to remove you proximity. So out of proximity, which means that you can be with me and still not be with me, because I've told you, don't do this, don't do that. You keep doing it. It makes me feel some kind of way. It puts me in a place that I have to now look at you differently. And so because of that, God does not always remove the thorn. God does not always remove the weapon. God does not always remove the sickness. Sometimes we have to deal with some things even in the midst of. But I want to tell you today that the only way out is through. I want to tell you that the weapon may form, but it will not prosper. So when people are continually violating your boundaries, move them on out. When respect declines after you've given the clarity, move them on out. When they keep increasing pressure instead of increasing compliance, move them on out. When chaos follows their presence, that means everything is good. You're always having a good time until they show up. Every time you see their name show up on your phone, you start feeling some type of way. You get a little anxiety. You get a little nervous. You have to breathe and exhale before you start talking to them. It's time to move them people out. When peace returns after they're absent, everybody having a good time when they leave, that's when you know. This is not emotion, this is data. And the non-negotiable rule, the non-negotiable policy is you do not owe access to people who do not protect your focus, who do not respect your time, who do not contribute to execution, and who do not honor your standards. Can I say this again? You do not owe access to people who do not protect your focus, who do not respect your time and protect your time, who do not contribute to execution, and people who do not honor your standards. Love does not override leadership. I hope y'all picking up these nuggets that I'm putting out, because I'm telling you, this is better than the McDonald's nuggets. Love does not override leadership. Love does not override leadership. You've got to have boundaries. The non-negotiables, people who do not protect your time, people who do not protect your focus, people who do not contribute to your execution, and people who do not honor your standards. Standards is a very sexy word. It's a word that's it's a defying word. It's an illumination, because it's going to highlight people who consistently disrespect you. Don't come in my house and go in my refrigerator. You ain't washed your hands, and number one, you ain't asked me. You ain't bought nothing in there. Nothing in there belongs to you. You ask. You ask. You don't get to just take just because we cool. Don't come and start wearing my clothes because I let you spend the night. You ask. Boundaries. You don't tell my personal information. I'm a very private person. You don't tell my personal information. If you want to know something so much about Pastor Derek, you don't go to the other people around me. Because if you see them with me, they're not going to tell you nothing about Pastor Derek. Because if they do, they won't be around Pastor Derek. You want to know something about Pastor Derek, you come ask Pastor Derek. And depending upon your level of value, depending upon your level of consistency, will depend upon the level of answer you get. Just because you ask don't mean I'm going to answer. You will get a response, but that don't mean you get an answer. Because everything ain't about your business. It's not about us being secret or slick. It's about being private. Private and secret are two different things. Secrecy is something that you may be ashamed of and you don't want out. But private means that everything ain't your business. Well, how much money he make? That's none of your business. What kind of car he drive? That's none of your business. Who she married to? How many kids she got? What that got to do with what you want that lady to come and fix your hair? You need that lady to do your taxes. This has nothing to do with state. And for all of the people that always are inquiring, nosy people are something else, man. They got always digging into stuff. Y'all need to go out to the beach and get you some pails and shovels, and or matter of fact, if you want to get paid for it, go into construction. Go into plumbing and drilling and welling if you like to dig so much. Matter of fact, you like to dig, put on your scuba diving outfit and learn how to go scuba diving. But stop scuba diving people, deep sea diving in people's personal businesses. You keep asking questions that has nothing to do with you and will not benefit you. You having the knowledge of what people do intimately has no value to you. Who they with, who they love, what they do, who they sleeping with, that's low-hanging fruit. And to be honest, that's why most people are not living in their expansion, because they too busy focused on what you do instead of taking care of what they do. Because you can't take care of your business and mine. You just can't do it. You can't do it. So let me close. Love didn't fail you. Your management style, your management or lack thereof of management failed you. And under new management, access is intentional. Intentional is another sexy word. I use it a lot. Intentional. I'm intentional. That means I meant to do it. I meant to love you. I meant to hug you. I meant to kiss you. I meant to support you. I meant I have mastered myself before I had really became elite in all things. If I meant that, I've learned how to now not give access to that level. Matter of fact, I have just totally killed that part of me. Sometimes a new version tries to rise up, and I go back and kill that too, because you're not worth my blood pressure being high. You're not worth the anxiety. You're not worth the stress to my kidneys and to my liver and to my heart. You're not worth it. I'll be 49 years old in a 20 more minutes. And baby, when I get 69 years old, I plan on looking as good as I do right now at 49. Now, you may think that's arrogance, but I know what I've been through to get to this point to be able to say that. And that ain't even none of your business either, because people are going to have opinions. And so they can feel however they want to feel. People are going to be offended by what you say. They're going to find a way to be offended. That's not a problem with me. It's not a problem for me. That's on you. If the problem is so bad, come to me. Now, I'm always available for reconciliation. I'm always, if I've done something to offend you, said something to offend you, if I've done something wrong to upset you, even if I had the greatest intention on helping you, but I hurt you in the process, I don't have any issue with reconciliation. I don't have any issue with sitting down and having a conversation. That's an investment. And if I love you like I say I do, I'm going to give you that investment. I'm going to be there present, and I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen, not to defend. I'm going to listen to comprehend. There's a difference. And this is where we're failing. We start feeling entitled. We feel like that people owe us something. We feel like because that's your mama, she owe you this. Because that's your daddy, he owe you this. Because that's your mate, your husband, your boo, your side piece, whatever you got going on. You don't owe anybody anything but respect. That's the only thing you owe them. You owe them respect. And so many times we find ourselves dealing with people that are so entitled because they feel like they are owed something. If your name ain't on this deed, if you ain't paying these bills, grown children that stay home with their mamas and daddies and try to be disrespectful, your mama tell you you need to be home at a certain time, you don't like it, go pay the cost to be the boss. Get out. But if your mama, you live with your mama and you 40 years old and your mama don't want people at her house, and you 50 years old and your mama don't want weed smoking at her house and card parties, and she don't want people in her yard, and you don't like it, you know the next thing you need to do? Don't get mad with your mama. Don't get mad with your mama. Go ahead and get online and find you an apartment that you probably gonna need a cosigner. And guess who that's gonna be? Probably your mama, your daddy. You get mad with the very people who are trying to give you clarity, structure, strategies, and systems, and because you want the benefits without the liabilities, you want the benefits without the responsibilities, then you get mad. All right, let me get out of that. Here we go. Here's your homework. It just blows my mind how people are so inconsistent. They show up wanting you to always provide the benefit. Every relationship requires maintenance. It requires investment. You don't get to just show up every time you have a crisis. That's the only time I hear from you is when you got a crisis. Yeah, I got some resources. Yeah, I probably could help you. But that don't mean that I am. Just because every time you turn around, you want to call me and ask me about something, or you want my time, you want my energy, you want my knowledge. I paid for that. I paid for that. And because I paid for it, I get to decide who I'm going to share that with. I used to have to really watch out for that manipulative spirit in church. People won't say, well, it's ministry. I have a worldwide ministry. I minister around the world. So I get to choose, as I'm obedient, as I have alignment with my assignment, where my ministry is. I don't have to come to your church and do your pastor's anniversary because it's ministry. I don't have to come to your church and do your building fund because it's ministry. That's your mission. That's your mandate. I don't have to give away my talent. I don't have to give away just to you, just for you. You're not entitled to that. Just because I have 4 or 5 cars and you don't have one, don't mean that I have to give you one. Don't mean you get to use one. And I hear people saying things like, they got all them cars in the yard and won't let me have. Why you don't have your own car? Whose insurance policy are you paying? Whose insurance? What company you got for your insurance? Huh? What you say? Oh, you don't have any. So you go out there and tear my car up and hit a deal with my car. Then what I got? So instead of I got 5 cars, now I got 4, and now I got a bill. You go out there and hit a deal with my car, and that deal hit another car. Now guess what? I am now liable for the responsibility of fixing that other car because you hit a deal in my car and you don't have. No. And when people are upset about what you do with your stuff, let them be upset. Let them be upset. Love under new management. I love you, but I got to give you these limitations. All right. Here's your homework. I call this the access audit. So we are wrapping up the 28 days of love, and this is really exciting. So I want you to know that March is coming, and we're going to talk about business, how to help you scale your business, how to help you do things in business, some basic things, because we got to return back to the basics of everything. Because there's so much information, there's so much advancement in technology, and people really forget about the basics. Listen, good manners will never go out of style. You walk into a room, you need to have a smile on your face and say, good morning, hello, how y'all doing? Speak to everybody. These funky dispositions that these people got these days, I'm telling you, just because you think you got a little something, baby, gravity is a real situation. You can be up to date and tonight be back down on the ground. But here's the thing, the people that you didn't speak to on your way back down, you got to go back and now be up in their face. We got to go back to the basics with so many things. Here is your homework for the access audit. Again, let me say this. The homework that you're getting right now, it ain't for me. I got to do my own homework. So whether you do it or not, that's on you. I'm going to do what God told me to do, which is serve the food. What you do with this is on you. You can turn off, you can turn up, you can turn in, you can turn in and kind of turn around. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm here to provide structure, strategy, systems, clarity to confusion that we all have. The doctor gave me some medicine at my last doctor's report and doctor's visit, and for indigestion. He prescribed the medicine. I went to the drugstore and picked it up and have not used it. Now, that was my choice. You have the same choice. But I cannot go back to that same doctor 2 months later and still be complaining about the indigestion when I didn't do what he told me to do the first time. Change ain't change until you change. So if you got it, rock on with it. But if you need help, stop coming to the doctor, stop coming to the psychiatrist, to the therapist, and telling them you're fine when you're not. Here's your homework. List 5 people that has the most access to you. List 5 people that have the most access to you. Next to those 5 people, I want you to write, what access do they have? What value do they produce? What does their access cost you? Again, what access do they have? What value do they produce? What does their access cost you? And 3, the other thing I want you to do is to identify one person whose access must be downgraded. You gave them too much access. So identify the person that their access must be downgraded. I want you to identify one area where boundaries must be reinforced. Or if you've never enforced them, enforced. And I want you to identify one conversation that you will never have again. No speeches, no announcements, just action. Listen, this is the Boardroom Report. I thank y'all so much for hanging out. I'm Pastor Derek, the Change Man Smith. I love you. Remember, change ain't change until you change. We'll see you next time. Be blessed and stay in love.
I'm talking about been with me when I fell down and couldn't find my way back up. Let me tell you what she did. She tried to give me that good loving, but I was down so I didn't want it. Wanted to fix my favorite foods. I was down so low I didn't want it. Y'all don't hear me. She booked a trip so we could get away for a little while. I told her I don't want it. Y'all don't hear me. She called my mama, said something is wrong with your baby. My mama called me, still couldn't get through to me. She called her girlfriends, they couldn't help her. But let me tell y'all why I ain't going nowhere. I came home one night, I eased up in the bedroom, found my baby down on her knees, calling out to the Lord. Y'all don't hear me in here. Down on her knees, Lord, whatever it is, Lord, whatever it is, Lord, whatever it is, Lord, whatever it is, I believe that you're able, and I want to tell you thank you for doing it for him already. I come to know tonight, anybody can take you to Applebee's and get a 2 for $20, but you gonna need somebody. You gonna need somebody. You're gonna need somebody. You gonna need somebody. You gonna need somebody to walk with you. Come on, you walking. Walk with you. Through the good times, walk with you. Through the bad times, walk with you. When you ain't got no money, walk with you. When you got a pocket full of money, walking with you. You gonna need somebody. I wish I had a witness here. You don't need arm candy. You don't need somebody that just look good on your arm. You need somebody. Yeah. You need somebody tonight. And if I got some fellas that's got a good woman, I want the fellas to make some noise. If you got a good woman, I want the fellas to make some noise. Ladies, if you are a good woman, can I hear y'all screaming? If you that kind of woman that can speak to the king inside the kid, let me hear you scream tonight. If you get your picture and in my dresser drawer and the bottom drawer, there are pictures of you and I. And sometimes when I'm feeling low, sometimes when no one else is around, how can I show y'all what I do when I'm by myself? I hope that y'all don't mind. I get down on the floor, I get down.
This is the year of expansion. Not theory, not talk. Expansion. Brought to you by the Change Agent Network, powered by SKD Entertainment, and distributed by SKD TV. If you're ready to move, if you're ready to build, if you're ready to expand, then you have come to the right room. Welcome to the Boardroom Report. Strategic direction for clear execution. Ladies,
Yes, sir. You look good. Lord have mercy. Oh, you look good. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Don't What's good, everybody? Pastor Derek the Change Man Smith back with the 48 principles for the last 48 years, and today is number 27. I called this one, You Couldn't See Me When You Had Me. Some people will mishandle you while they're blind, and then resent you when their eyes finally open. Let me tell you something, you ain't about to treat me like an option, then act surprised when I'm no longer available. I'm not bitter, I just remember. I remember the silence, the shade, and now that I'm shining, you want to be all on the scene like you helped build it. No, baby, you don't get access to me because you fumbled the last version of me. And if you had to lose me to learn how to treat someone like me, well, that's a lesson you brought with your own neglect. When someone finally sees your value, it doesn't mean they deserve your presence. That's one lesson that I've learned, y'all. There's a blessing in boundaries. Remember, change ain't change till you change. Change ain't change until you change. Welcome to the 48 Principles for the last 48 years with yours truly, Pastor Derek the Change Man Smith. And today is number 46. I call this one, People Will Love Your Stuff More Than They Love You. Your talent, your shine, your resources, they love it all more than they love you. They'll cheer when you're producing, when you're performing, and when you're feeding their needs. But the moment that the music stops, have you noticed the clapping stops too? Because they were never attached to you. They were just attached to what you bring. And that's why you gotta know the difference. Don't confuse applause for appreciation. Don't confuse access for affection. And when you know your worth outside of what you give and what you do, you'll stop being surprised when people vanish after the benefits dry up. It's Pastor Derek the Change Man Smith. I'm just letting you know change ain't change until you change. Change ain't change. What's good, everybody? It's Pastor Derek the Change Man Smith back with the 48 Principles for the last 48 years, and today is number 31. I call this one the courage to check yourself. Accountability is not punishment, it's protection. It protects your integrity, your progress, your destiny, and most of all, your name. You have to hold yourself accountable, and not because you're flawless, but because you refuse to abandon your future for the comfort of excuses. Weak people avoid accountability because it exposes their patterns. Growing people embrace accountability because it breaks their patterns. And when you finally stop negotiating with your potential, your life begins to multiply in the right direction. Accountability is how you honor the version of you, the version that you're becoming. Hold yourself accountable. And remember, I said, change ain't change until you change.
Derek, the Change Man Smith.
Let me hear your scream.
I wanna go outside, enjoy a trail ride. Yes, and be with some grown folks and have a real good time.
What you say?
I wanna go outside,
Yes, sir.
enjoy a trail ride. And be with some grown folks and have a real good time. And don't you know,
It's my favorite time of year. When the sun is bright and the days are long and we're cooking on the grill. I can't wait till the weekend, so I can hang out with my family and my friends. Gonna head over to my closet. I got more drip than a faucet. Gonna get so fresh